Hello everyone, welcome to the most controversial series on my channel, one that I have been continuing with my favorite artists over time slowly. We are going to be ranking every single Lady Gaga song from her debut all the way to Chromatica, though technically Hold My Hand, because that is her actual last song she's released to her name. I have done this series using the Tiermaker template, and I will be using that template again, although the last time I tried this, I did this by ranking songs on my wall, the Florence and the Machine video. Check that out. It'll be linked in the description if anyone's interested. I had a lot of fun doing that with the Post-its, but they kept falling off the wall, and it just got a little bit hectic. So we're going back to digitally doing this. However, I hope this isn't a disappointment for some of you, but in the interest of brevity, because these videos can get super long, I have actually already initially ranked all of the songs in this template. Before you get mad, I've done this before. Sometimes it's because I've lost footage while I was initially recording myself doing it because I'm a dunce when it comes to screen recording my stuff and remembering all that. But also, I feel this time around, I will, be able to give a little bit more like of a, not a brief summary, but like I can talk just about the songs I want to talk about, and you'll be able to see every single song ranked. And that was my initial ranking. So I have not looked at it since. I did it like a while ago now. So I'm going back into this kind of with fresh eyes, and I'm going to be like, that's what I chose. Okay. I might move some things around on camera. So you will see that. But I hope it's okay that it's not like a live ranking. I just find that those kinds of videos like get really repetitive. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna move this song and this one, and I don't know what to say after a while. So I just feel like it's just smoother and a little bit briefer for me to do it this way. But don't worry, this video will still be at least a half hour or something, You know me, I can't be brief. Lady Gaga is an artist who I have covered prolifically on this channel. The only album, incidentally, I have not reviewed of hers is her debut from 2008, The Fame. I have reviewed The Fame Monster, which was the companion EP, technically her second album, even though it falls under the category of EP because it's 8 songs or less, and it's kind of hard to tell if it's in the album territory or EP territory. I like to call it as a proper album, but they can be packaged together as one. So whether you count The Fame Monster as album 1 or 1.5, that's a debate. But whatever reason, I only reviewed The Fame Monster and never The Fame on this channel. So consider this a review of that album because I will be talking about most of the songs as I come up through this. And I've reviewed all of her others. I have not reviewed Cheek to Cheek either. I did review Love for Sale, but I have not reviewed Cheek to Cheek. That was before I had this channel, and I just didn't go back and do it. Incidentally, I'm afraid you will also not be seeing any Cheek to Cheek or Love for Sale songs in this ranking. I didn't make the template that I'm ending up using for this video. I had been, looking at a lot of different ones on Tiermaker. There are a bunch, and I wanted one that was up to date and that had all of her studio albums. But there's a lot of Lady Gaga fans are a bit divided on whether you'd consider the Cheek to Cheek and Love for Sale records like canon Lady Gaga, or is it like, rightfully so, kind of a Tony Bennett discography feature. I would argue that the songs that are just Gaga and no Tony would belong in her own discography because they're not features, they're her actual songs. Well, they're covers, they're not her actual songs. But they don't appear on this list. And I don't know, maybe one day if I get back to doing this and I have more time on my hands, I could actually make my own tier ranking thing and include some of those songs. But I'm afraid I didn't have time to make my own tier ranking. It takes so long to get all those thumbnails loaded into Tiermaker. You have no idea. When I did it for Madonna, it took forever. There was so many songs. So I'm afraid I was going to use something that's already been made. Forgive me. However, I did change the names of the actual tiers. So they were kind of just generically labeled like S tier, A tier, B tier, D tier, so on. So I changed the names because if you know this series, I like to name them sort of like punny kind of takes on actual songs from this artist's discography. So I tried my best to be fitting with that. There's also only going to be 5 categories, which I usually like to do 6 when I'm doing these rankings. But once again, I didn't have time to make my own template. So take that as it will. There's only 5. I'll break down as I'm going through how I could sort of divide one of the categories in half. I'll get to that when we get there. So, without too much more preamble, why don't we get into this? Again, this is going to be a highly controversial video because Lady Gaga fans, love, because Lady Gaga, let's start out by saying this, has dabbled in so many different genres of music in her career so far, and she only technically has 7 albums under her belt, 6 if you don't include the Fame Monster, and of course the Tony stuff. She's really run the gamut. So it's hard for Lady Gaga fans to agree on anything when it comes to best of lists. So this is going to be very controversial, I am sure. These are always controversial. I have somewhat unpopular opinions about certain songs. And I already know that when I go into the bottom category, because we're going to work our way from the bottom to the top, that I'm going to upset at least 50% of you. And I'm very sorry, but I have to be honest. So without further ado, let's get into this. I'm going to try, and I'm on Tiermaker now. I know there's tons of ads. Just try and ignore them. I'm going to reveal category by category, and I'll sort of spend time talking about them each time. So the bottom category is going to be called aptly Shiza, which obviously means shit in German. Yeah, I had to do it. You will not see Shiza the song in this category, though. I only ended up actually putting 7 songs in this category in my initial ranking. And you can see them here. Some of these I think are going to be pretty, I think we can all agree that, for example, the worst song, the one I have at the bottom, because if you're looking at this reading from left to right, they get worse as you go across the page. The worst song, I think, of her entire discography is Jewels and Drugs from Artpop. I think we can all agree that, obviously there were way better demos that got leaked that could have been put on the record instead of this one. Doesn't do anything for any of us. I've come across very few stands of this song, so I didn't feel too controversial placing it there. But moving along, Grigio Girls is a bonus track off of Joanne, and if you watch my Joanne review, I talk about it, just didn't do anything for me. It's very kind of by the numbers, kind of fun, silly ballad with a melody that doesn't really work to my ears. It's not really, it's a bit screechy. Sorry, not feeling it. I love the other bonus track, Just Another Day, but not a big fan of Grigio Girls. Hair, Body, Face. Now, interestingly, I did say she has only technically 7 records, but A Star Is Born will be on this list. I should have prefaced this. I'm sorry, I just didn't think of it until now. We're going to treat A Star Is Born as a Lady Gaga record, or at least apparently whoever made this template did. However, you will only see songs that she is primarily the singer or the main vocalist on, or a feature. You're not going to see songs that are just like Bradley or something on here. Hair, Body, Face is one of the songs that her character Allie performs or sings as her pop star alter ego. And I did review A Star Is Born, the album and the movie on my channel. And if you remember, I wasn't so glowing about the Allie stuff. Well, what I mean by that is the pop star Allie songs. I was much more a fan of the rock star Allie songs, if that makes any sense. The stuff that was made to sound like very derivative Fame-esque music that they were trying to put out is this is what Lady Gaga would sound like. Just felt like AI generated garbage to me. It just lacked I don't know, maybe it's the lack of Red One and the lack of Space Cowboy. Come on, they really did their thing on that first record. It's not hitting for me. It's not hitting. Unfortunately, we have 2 Chromatica songs that, if you watch my Chromatica review, you know are not high in my esteem. Fun Tonight and Plastic Doll. This is, again, very controversial, but they're my least favorite songs on that record, and I'm sorry, it's just they don't really melodically, they just don't hit like they should. And I do think they're a little juvenile sonically, like the production Blood Pop. I have a bit of a problem with production on that record. It's a bit lazy or a little bit too dime a dozen. Any pop star could have made it. Money Honey from the Fame, I think that's a pretty standard, agreeable kind of miscut from her first record. But then, I'm almost scared to say it. To have this in the shit category is, oh boy, you're trying the gods today. I'm afraid it's going to Perfect Illusion. I know, but if you see my Joanne review, you knew this was coming. I've tried with this song. I really, really have. Granted, I haven't actually like sat down and listened to it in probably like 3 years. But I before that I tried to get into it. I promise. I really didn't want to write this song off after an initial listen. But it just I don't know. It's almost even it's getting worse with age. I don't know. I don't know. A wailing nowhere chorus. It's so mm, it's just so disappointing to me. I can't this rock thing that she was trying to do just didn't pay off where it pays off so much in other avenues for her. This was a huge miss for me, and I'm sorry. And the key change makes it even worse. Usually a key change makes the song better. The key change makes the song even worse. It's just descending into bedlam. I'm sorry if you love this song. I really shouldn't harp too long on it because it's really gonna. 50% of you are probably shutting down this video right now. But if you make it past it, maybe we can agree on some other stuff. So let's go into the next category, shall we? We have however you say that, the category. Barely passing, if that, okay? Now this is where I might start doing some rearranging because right now I see at the very bottom I had Why Did You Do That? This was another song kind of like with Hair, Body, Face. I liked it just marginally more, so I put it in this category, but I feel pretty good about it being at the very bottom. I also, Boys, 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 again, it's not a highlight for me on the fame. It's just a little derivative. It's a little bit juvenile for her. It's not really for me. Diamond Heart, though, that is harsh. But I hate to say it, it's another Joanne song that I just have not wanted to come back to. Like, it is a little bit more of the country rock sound that I'm more here for from her. I obviously like that it's more live instrumentation versus Perfect Illusion. But at the end of the day, the chorus, it's still kind of shouty, meatloafy, not really my kind of music. Hate to say it. But the vocal delivery is good. Donatella, yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed that I like kind of ate this up when it came out. Like I was really still in my pop bag, and now I kind of see through this. This song could have been so much better. It's a bit of a mess. The production is a little too less is more sometimes. What's this? Dancing in Circles. Yeah, I bopped to it when it came out, but like, can we all agree this song hasn't aged very well? It just doesn't really go anywhere. Um, hey Girl, I mean, this kills me because I love Florence Welch, but Florence is kind of the only redeem. No, I do. It's Benny and the Jets. It's so derivative in that regard. I don't know. Maybe Hey Girl doesn't belong this far down. I'm gonna redeem Hey Girl a little bit here. Um, so I'm unfortunately, and I mean again, this is live TV, folks. I'm discovering something very frustrating, and I just had no idea that this was going to be the case. I can't edit this template without losing the entire ranking. So we're stuck with what I put where I put it, which really sucks because I do want to move some of these things around. But I really don't want to re-rank it. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I thought I could move them, but I can't. It's not letting me because I guess what I did was I like saved it and now it's here for me to view, but I can't change it. Tiermaker, hello, can we get, can we get our act together here? Like I'm not about this, but I just don't think there's a way. I mean, someone in the comments let me know for future reference if there's a way from if I'm being completely stupid here. It's not letting me re-rank these. I mean, I know I'm pretty good with how it all turned out based on my recollection. It's just I would have put Hey Girl a little bit higher up here. Like I would have put it above like Sex Dreams and Stupid Love. I feel like Hey Girl was done a little dirty here. Most of the rest of these I feel pretty good about. Now Heal Me is the best alley pop song. Bad Kids is a bit low too. I mean, Teeth, everyone hates Teeth, right? No one loves that song, but I don't know. It's still art pop to me. These two, Highway Unicorn is just more not my style. I do appreciate it though. I have The Cure at the top. I think The Cure, I mean, it would have been great on the A Star is Born soundtrack. I would have definitely loved it instead of Hair, Body, Face. But at the end of the day, it's just so generic, you know? Like, I know that Lady Gaga does do generic stuff sometimes, but I just expect a little bit more from her, I guess. But yeah, I mean, again, the biggest thing I would do is I would move Hey Girl up to like here, maybe put it in between Venus and Swine, maybe even put it in between The Cure and Venus. Because this song, I do feel like it deserves its chops. It's just not quite leaving the C territory for me. And you know what's also interesting is I just lost all of my titles. I had them titled. I can add them. See, I can do this, but I can't. That's another way of spelling it. I can't get the German letter in there. So the next category is the biggest one, and this is one I really could divide into two tiers, but it's going to be called Dope. So these are the songs that definitely pass, definitely replayable. This is how I'm sort of ranking them. I would say that all the songs in these bottom two tiers are sort of the ones that are on the borderline for me, and the ones that are, for the most part, in this top tier are like in my best of Lady Gaga kind of conversation, especially this top line. But you know, from Manicure all the way up to You and I, so we span some real breadth of quality here. But the lower bunch, you know, I mean, I feel pretty strongly that these are songs that kind of came and went. They're fun. They're kind of iconic for what they are. But overall, I mean, Starstruck could. I could see myself moving Starstruck up. I mean, yeah, it is generic, but it's at the height of Lady Gaga's sort of bimbo pop phase, and there is something so perfect about it. There's something so disco, something so yeah. I will always have an affinity for that song. It takes me back to high school. Takes me back to 10th grade, like that. Yeah, I mean, overall, I would say I don't really have too much to say about this bottom tier. This next tier up here, though, I mean, you know, look at the hits. You know, I mean, look at the receipts. Dope is obviously in this category, by the way. I have Hold My Hand here, her most recent song. I mean, it's strong. It's definitely a contender. You will see it probably in my year-end best songs of the year list. Just putting that out there. That's coming up soon. I am working on it. You know, Angel Down might be the sentiment about Angel Down kind of gives it extra oomph, I think, just knowing what it's written about. Yeah, Come to Mama. I mean, Joanne does get some love. I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, should I harp too much on this, or are you okay with this? Are you happy with this like situation? I don't know. I do feel very strongly that like out of all of these songs I'm looking at right now in this category, You and I and Hold My Hand are definitely the strongest. I mean, Just Another Day, A Million Reasons. These are her sort of Oscar-y ballad type songs, but they, you know, they give Diane Warren vibes if she wasn't involved as a songwriter. Diane Warren's all over the Oscars for movie, film, soundtracks. And Hair. I mean, these are iconic, and they belong in the classic Gaga category. But so many of these others could make it too. I mean, I could easily put Monster in there, Replay, Babylon, though the Babylon House Slobs remix slaps. I highly prefer that version. Can't really listen to the old version now. That Donna Chromatica remix album, it had some improvements on the original. Others were a little bit, I mean, you know, one or two that were just like, I'm sorry, you know, I like electronic music, but we're going a little too, you know, sonic blender here. It's getting a little bit much. But speaking of, Babylon has one of the best remixes on that record. And I also love the 911 Charlie XCX remix. Speaking of, I actually love the Pablo Guitar Fun Tonight remix. It's the only version of Fun Tonight I support. Makes it just a little bit more, just got a little more flavor to it. Yeah, so overall, I mean, I think Telephone is kind of overrated. Like, let's be honest. I think the music video outshines the song and the fact that Beyonce's on there. But yeah, with the exception of maybe moving Gypsy down and maybe moving Starstruck up, and Ayo being there is probably uncontroversial, but we're going to just move along because we can't change this list. I am married to it, apparently. I'm so sorry. I really am annoyed that that's the case. But anyway, we get to the B category. But don't get me wrong, this is A, really. This is just not A++. The art pop category. So here we have, however many songs, and I will go through all of them. I mean, Speechless, we're all left speechless by that ballad, right? Total 60s power ballad that just, oh my God. So Happy I Could Die, Shiza, definitely up here. Summer Boy, Way to End the Fame, Enigma, one of my favorites on Chromatica. Shallow, a little bit overrated, but it definitely belongs in this category. Poker Face, Electric Chapel, Heavy Metal Lover, need I say more, definition of art pop. Applause, Alice. I think this is my absolute favorite song off Chromatica. I think this is the highest I have there. We have Artpop, the title track. AA, Judas, Always Remember Us This Way. I can't read some of this tiny text. Born This Way, Just Dance, and Dance in the Dark. I feel really good about this ranking, to be completely honest with you. I mean, with some of these songs, it's like, oh, I could put Judas above this one. It's like, whatever. They're all really good. They're all really great. But this category, I mean, look at the hits. Look at the material. I mean, I definitely have more of a thing for DJ White Shadow. Definitely is in the house. Red One. Yeah, I don't know. I miss those days. I really do. Fernando Garibay does some good stuff too. We miss him as well. R.I.P. Well, not R.I.P. It's just Gaga doesn't want to work with them anymore. One day, maybe. But yeah, so I guess we should reveal the top category. You can probably already guess which songs are in there. I think I have 10. And this category is going to be called the Songs of Glory. And yes, I do believe we have 9 songs up here. If I could edit some things, I might move 1 or 2 up here, but we have I'll Never Love Again, The Queen, Edge of Glory, of course, Paparazzi, Joanne, the piano version, Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary is having quite the resurgence on TikTok, right? Thanks to that Wednesday show. I haven't watched the show, but it's cool to see Lady Gaga acknowledge Bloody Mary on TikTok. Granted, this song could have easily been an amazing music video and single if she decided to go with that direction. Apparently she wanted to release way more singles for Born This Way, even though she did get quite a few out. It would have been nice to have seen a music video for that one. Alejandro, this song is a little bit more style over substance for me, but oh my God, it will forever be lodged in my neural networks. Like my oral to neural networks will just be obsessed with the hook on this one. I mean, the visuals too, the dance styles, the edgy kind of futuristic mixed with classic symphonic pop elements, the house elements. Oh, it's firing on the queer elements. This song is it's so iconic. Bad Romance, which, I mean, again, everyone's going to have in their top 5. It's a little predictable. And at the very top, I decided to go with Marry the Night. Because at the end of the day, I feel like Marry the Night, just when I first heard it, and then, of course, also saw the equally stellar music video, the chills just wouldn't stop coming. Because this is I felt like I was literally listening to what Lady Gaga's full potential was. And I feel like all of the songs in this top 2 categories are her unleashing her full potential. And that's not to say, I mean, again, it's hard, but I feel like she sometimes is very below her own standards, especially lately. So it's been kind of upsetting to watch. But unfortunately, it also feels a little bit like the creativity has been sucked out of her to a certain extent after whatever it was that went down between Artpop and Joanne with the changing of her team and all of the craziness. It just feels like, I don't know, people talk about the Melissa and Avril Lavigne conspiracy. Sometimes I feel that way about Lady Gaga. I'm like, when she went on stage at the Oscars and sang that Sound of Music tribute, it was like the old Lady Gaga is dead. Welcome to the new Academy esteemed Lady Gaga. But don't get me wrong. We want them both. We want them both. It's just, I sometimes do mourn not that Gaga hasn't done pop recently. Chromatica was a thing, but Chromatica doesn't touch Born This Way, or even Artpop, which has aged a lot better than I thought it would. I was really worried Artpop was really not going to age very well. Maybe 5 years ago, I felt that way. For some reason, I don't know, it's having a renaissance for me, except for a few songs, like Jewels and Drugs, obviously. And Donatella. We'll forget those. But otherwise, yeah, it's a strong record. Groundbreaking. And Born This Way is my favorite Gaga record. I have a lot of personal connection to it. So, that's my list. This feels actually so short. I mean, she doesn't have a ton of songs. I do want to point out 2 songs, however, that are missing from this list. One of the songs that's missing is called Till It Happens to You. This was from a soundtrack to a movie that came out in 2015. And I hate to say it, but the name of the documentary, I believe it was a documentary about sexual assault, if I'm not mistaken. I will have it on the screen. I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head right now. But she did perform it at the Oscars. And it's a really great song. Very Diane Warren. It's a little bit, okay, by the numbers, belting ballad. I would put it in dope. Somewhere in the middle here. Maybe the low end of this top row. But I got to be honest with you, I didn't love the melody. But obviously the message is so important. It's like talking bad about the song it makes you kind of be side-eyed a little bit. But I got to be honest with you, I just didn't love the melody. And then there's one other song that is missing on here. Well, I do want to point out that this person kind of melded the 2 versions of Joanne into one song. If I had to separate out, the Joanne album mix versus the Joanne piano ballad mix, I would rate the piano ballad slightly higher. I think I would put Joanne down here, somewhere in Artpop, because I do love that song and it is my favorite off of that record. But the Joni Mitchell folk vibes, so here for it. But I do love the piano version just a little bit more. Just the elevated space and breadth of the musical kind of crescendos and stuff. It's chef's kiss. I mean, it's so emotional, especially the music video. The other song that's missing, I just remembered what it is. Christmas Tree. I don't know if anyone remembers it, but Gaga did put out a Christmas song back in, her Red One days, right after the Fame came out. It was like December of 2008. And I remember listening to it on iTunes back in the day, and I listened to it again recently, and I was like, damn, this song is a little, this is okay. It's for a certain demographic. It would probably go in AA. Okay, it would probably go in AA. Another song that just came to the top of my head when I said that is also a song from that era called Fashion. Not to be confused with the one with the exclamation point from Artpop. This one is just Fashion, and it was off of the Confessions of a Shopaholic soundtrack. That song would probably go in maybe the 3rd tier of dope, somewhere in there. I can't believe they forgot Fashion too. I didn't even realize that until I just was filming this video. I knew they forgot Christmas Tree until It Happens to You. But this person is not as big of a Lady Gaga fan as they might be trying to come across. I do love how they did the thumbnails for each song. But here we are with my list. I mean, again, Hey Girl is the one I think that I just realized I kind of did a disservice to by putting it so low. But overall, I feel very happy about this list. I mean, again, my top 5 being what they are right now. You could almost interchange any of them to be up there. I would be fine with the ordering of almost any of these being my number 1. Maybe except Paparazzi. That's not my number 1. But what am I going to say? She has the hits. She has the chops. But what will her next Sonic adventure sound like? I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be getting it in 2023, to be honest with you. Her work ethic, it's a little slower. She's not a Taylor Swift. She's definitely proven that recently. And she's going to be working on filming Joker 2, which I have my own thoughts about her being attached to that franchise. Let's just say I don't doubt that the film will probably be well made. I never saw the first Joker, but I have some hot takes about films that glorify incel violence. So I'm not entirely sure if films like Joker are healthy for the young male society. But then again, I'm a bit of a grandma when it comes to a lot of super violent films. So take that with a pinch of salt there. I think we're all a little too obsessed with violence. Let's just don't get me wrong, I like my horror too, but like leave it to Halloween. I don't know. Like, just Lady Gaga seems better than this, but whatever. I don't know if I'm going to see the movie, to be honest with you. I'm just not really interested in a Joker movie. I'm really not. Not into the superhero stuff. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that she's doing it, honestly. A little disappointed. It is what it is. She likes to do some of the violent stuff. She did American Horror Story. Whatever. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to be getting a new project. I think the next thing we might hear from her is going to be soundtrack stuff from that film, which isn't coming out for 2 years, so it could be a little while. Maybe she might start after filming Raps next year. She might start putting out some stuff. We'll see. Anyway, leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm sure we have lots of things to disagree upon. So I am again so sorry to Perfect Illusion stans. That song is a skip for me, and it always will be. And I'll never forget in that 5'2" documentary, Gaga goes, "Should I not put this song out? Are my fans not going to like it?" And I was like, listen to your instincts. Don't put it out as the lead single. What are you doing? Oh my God. Anyway, but you know what? Creative differences aside. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. But let me know what your top 10, 15 Lady Gaga songs are. What are your least favorites? Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in my next one. I want to keep up doing this series. And maybe I will go back to ranking individually in the video so that I don't have this issue that I just ran into here. We'll see. I'm trying things out here, okay? I'm really trying. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed holiday. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.